have to give y'all so much credit because through questions from Team Keep It Clean, y'all have like taught me so much about the game of football and continue to teach me so much about the game of football. And y'all bring out a lot of different points and stuff that I would have never even thought of. And that's why for today's video, our guy Samy, he brought up something and I was like, oh, he said it's delusional, but in my opinion, it's really not. And that has to do with our pass rush. Let's just get straight to it. He said, hey, Ingraven, hey, Samy. He said, Samy here. Hope you and your family are doing well and everything is fine. Hey, everything is great. I appreciate you. I love you, Samy. I appreciate you for sending in a question. I appreciate whenever y'all send in questions because it just makes the videos that much more fun for me. And I hope it does the same for y'all. So I appreciate y'all. He said, one delusional idea I had lately was, yes, it would be nice to get Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, but what about Trey Hendrickson? Hold up, you talking about the Trey Hendrickson that's across the division over there with the Bengals? You talking about the Trey Hendrickson that used to play in New Orleans? That Trey Hendrickson? Yeah, that one. He said, what if the Bengals can't keep him and T. Higgins as well as Chase around? Now, ooh, that's a really good point. When we talk about pass rushers, obviously, yeah, pipe dream, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby would be amazing. But Trey Hendrickson, in my opinion, he actually may be a little more realistic, actually a lot more realistic than those guys. For Myles Garrett, for example, you're going to have to give up everything and more to acquire him, especially, and you're going to have to give up even more than that, especially because it will be an in-division trade. So most likely, 9 times out of 10, it ain't happening. Max Crosby, you would have to give up a lot to acquire him, a whole lot. He's a baller. He's like that. He's one of them guys. Nice. But with Trey Hendrickson, you might not have to give up anything. Reason being, going back the last couple of years, Trey Hendrickson has been going back and forth with the Bengals. Hey, I want to redo my contract. Hey, I want to rework my contract. Hey, but especially this offseason, he said, hey, I either want the Bengals to pay me or I don't mind them trading me or I don't mind going elsewhere. So he let it be known, like, look, I'm cool with Cincy, but it's time. It's time for them to pay me. But then, like you mentioned too, he said, what if the Bengals can't keep him and T. Higgins? They putting a franchise tag on T. Higgins. So what they're doing is looking like, hey, you're going to come to a contract agreement with us, or you're going to play on this franchise tag for the next year, or we're going to trade you elsewhere. But Bengals have made it clear publicly, at least, that they want to keep T. Higgins. We'll see what they do in private and if that ends up turning into a contract extension. But that will be a significant contract extension. But then on top of that, you got another receiver that's also pretty good too, that's been wanting to get paid for a while. And when he gets paid, oh boy, it's going to be filthy. It's going to be nasty. And that's Jamar Chase. So the Bengals, they got some decisions to make, some significant decisions to make, and they got to make them fast. So those all have implications on what they do with Trey Hendrickson. In my opinion, if we're looking at it, Trey Hendrickson, he got to be on the back burner for them, right? Even though he be leading the league in sacks like every year, he's a baller. But Trey, is he really a priority when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals? Now, I know a lot of us as Ravens fans, we have called the Ravens cheap for a while, but the Ravens are not cheap by any means. They're cheap at certain positions like wide receiver. But besides that, the Ravens are not a cheap organization. You want to know what cheap is? Look at the Bengals. Look at them. They do not like paying and Bengals fans will tell you that too. This ain't even just, I ain't saying this because I'm a Ravens, but no, Bengals fans will let you know the same thing with even more detail too, though. So with the Bengals, with all of this going on that they got with a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins, and I'm not sure who their other pending free agents are as well, but they don't like to dish out money like that. They really, really don't. Even Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, he's at it too. And you know, that's a Bengal for life right there. He might have spent some time in New England and whatnot, been around, but that's a Bengal right there. He be repping in Bengals, but he'll keep it real about the Bengals as well. So, I'm glad you brought this up because the Bengals Trey Hendrickson could force their hand and be like, look, just let me go. Just release me. And think about this. If the Bengals were to release him, Now, they wouldn't trade him to the Ravens. They wouldn't. Not at all. But if they were to release him, obviously he's going to have interest. He would have suitors. He would have all these teams lining up to get Trey Hendrickson because he's obviously has continued to prove that he is a baller. He was a baller over there in New Orleans. He's been even more of a baller with the Cincinnati Bengals. And he has been very, very consistent, very, very impactful. But if he didn't get a contract from the Bengals and the Bengals ended up releasing him, you think he's going to have just a little bit of bad taste in his mouth for the Cincinnati Bengals? Yeah. You think he's just going to have a little bit of bad blood for the Cincinnati Bengals? Yeah. And what better place to go to than right around the way in Baltimore, where you can get your get back at least 2 times a year against the Cincinnati Bengals. That could be something serious. And that could give him that motivation to join the black and purple. That could really entice him to join them. So that's just something to think about. And then everything that he could bring to, we didn't even talk about how great he's been as a pass rusher. We didn't even mention that. But that could be such a beautiful thing. But he wasn't even done writing yet. He said, I think he would be maybe even the better option because he is disruptive as well. And the best part is it would make a big rival a lot weaker. Oh, it would. And it will make us a lot stronger. He said, because I don't think we are fighting against the Raiders and Browns next year about a playoff spot. We probably lose to the Browns once in a stinker game, but not competing against them for the AFC North crown. Let me know what you think about it. Yes, that's true. And I mean, we compete against the Steelers. Steelers, obviously, this past year, they started off hot, but then they ended off not. And then the Bengals, they were like this. Their defense, their offense was lights out, fire, amazing, just like ours. But the defense was bad, really bad, just like ours. But our defense got turned around. Theirs, well, you know the rest of the story. So it would be Trey Hendrickson would be nice to grab from the Bengals. So we got to monitor that situation. We got to keep tabs on that situation to see what ends up happening over there in Cincy with Trey and them Bengals boys, huh? Anyway, he said, I hope you're getting through all the emails and all the best from Samy. We certainly getting there. We getting there. We are email by email. And we know every time we get caught up, then more come in. But again, like I always say, I appreciate y'all for even sending them in because y'all make this so much more fun. Y'all make it even more fun than it already is. Y'all enhance everything that happens over here, and it could not be done without y'all, so I appreciate you. So now, even though we started off with it, now we've reached my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question in a DM directly on Patreon. And if you would like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. I love y'all, I appreciate y'all, and let's get into it. Oh, and real quick, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications on so you can stay up to date with everything going down with our Baltimore Ravens. Let's get into it. Next question came from my guy Terry. He said the TMitch GM experience. All right, let's do it. He said, what's up, Ingraven? What's up, Terry? Or should I say TMitch? He said, hope you and the fam are doing good, and I pray that God continues to bless you. I appreciate that a lot, man. He said, I just wanted your opinion on this. I know you have a lot of emails. He said, I know you got a lot of emails, especially since it's officially the off season. So if you decide not to read all of this, I understand. And if you do, I appreciate it. And thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. He said, and we're going to read all of it. He said, I wanted to give you my dream off season for the Ravens. So here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay. So he said, this is a dream. Will your dreams turn into reality? Let's see. He said, number 1, restructure Mark Andrews. Oh, okay. Restructure Mark Andrews. All right. So he want to keep Mark Andrews. A lot of Ravens fans want to get rid of Mark Andrews. He wants to keep Mark Andrews. He said in free agency for guys that we can sign, Tre'Davious White, Pat Ricard, Mekhi Becton. Okay. So he looking for a solid cornerback. Bring back our fullback for the run game. Yeah. Mekhi Becton help give a boost to the offensive line. A Super Bowl offensive lineman, by the way. Lamar Jackson's old Louisville teammate. We'll see. Javon Holland. Ooh. For that third safety or rotational safety, have all three of them on the field. They would have all three of them on the field. That would be a really nice, because he can play everywhere. Similar to Kyle Hamilton. Maybe not at the level of Kyle Hamilton, but Javon Holland's really good. When I first got introduced to him, was in the Ravens and Dolphins game back, the zero blitz game. Y'all remember that? Because I went to that one with my wife, with my uncle. Dolphins game is a fun atmosphere. Ravens fans always show out for Dolphins games down here in Miami. But anyway, that game was ugly. But that's when I first found out who Javon Holland was. Because I'm like, man, who was that number 8? Just he all everywhere for the Dolphins. He's literally everywhere. And it was him. I said, oh, okay. Well, that boy is nice. I know he's dealt with some injuries recently, so that would be the tricky part with him. He also said Levante David. Oh, you really want to upgrade the linebacker for real. And he also said Josh Sweat. Okay, the pass rush again. That would be a nice one. Or Stephon Diggs. Ooh, Stephon Diggs. Now, with Stephon Diggs, good receiver. No, he was hurt last year, which is unfortunate for him. Stephon Diggs. I just feel like it could work with him with the Ravens, but he would not be the best complement to Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman. He's like, he's them all in one. He ain't as shifty as Zay Flowers, but he's shifty. He's a good route runner. He's just like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. We have that already. And not to say we can't have even more, especially, hey, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. So I wouldn't be mad at a Stephon Diggs, but I just feel like a deep threat wide receiver, a big catch radius wide receiver, a big jump ball wide receiver. I feel like that would be. And Stephon Diggs, he'll go up and get it now. Don't sleep on that now. So I ain't saying it, but a big jump ball receiver. I just feel like that would be a much better complement to Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers. Again, I wouldn't be mad at a Stephon Diggs, but I feel like those guys will complement. Those type of guys, a big body wide receiver, will complement those guys a lot more than a Stephon Diggs would. I wouldn't be mad at Stephon Diggs though, because that, like, imagine like we got Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Stephon Diggs, man. Like, what? That would be crazy. Man, and when you think about it, like, and it sounds so weird to say, but we had enough at wide receiver last year. We did. And our third wide receiver was Nelson Aguilar. Imagine we go into this and our third wide receiver will be Stephon Diggs or Rashad Bateman or Zay Flowers. Like, they would mix, match, intertwine. Ooh, that'd be something. He said, so those are his free agency guys. Now, he said for trade candidates, he said, trade Odafe away to the Packers for Christian Watson and a first or second round pick in this year's draft. Oh, my God. You think we trade Odafe away to them and they give us Christian Watson and a first round or second round pick? They ain't doing that. They not doing that. And even right now, if you were to trade Odafe away, I don't even think he would get you a first round pick. He may be a low first rounder, but he get you a second. But I don't even think he would get you a first though. I don't. And not to say he's a bad player because he's not, but he's still developing. But I don't think you would get a first rounder for Odafe away. Now, if you were saying trade Odafe away and a first or second round pick for Christian Watson, I think that they would do that. But yeah. And he said, or trade for DK Metcalf. Okay, I like that one, dude. Now, trading Odafe away, I think a better trade, like with that scenario, would be trading David Ojabo. Trading him somewhere with a first or second round pick to upgrade at another position. Then I could say, oh, okay. So, yeah. Anyway, he said in a draft, in round 1, Josh Connerly, left tackle from Oregon. Okay, so that depends on what happens or what doesn't happen with Ronnie Stanley. He said round 2, Jack Sawyer, edge from Ohio State. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it. I got to watch him. See if he is one of them crazy TJ Watt, JJ Watt kind of boys. Or I got to see because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about him. Or he said in round 2, draft Kobe Bryant. And he said post June 1st cuts, Justin Tucker, Marcus Williams. Self-explanatory pretty much here. He said this gives us much more cap space and flexibility to continually build the offense and defense. Is in my opinion. I know what you might say. Why trade Odafe away? He just had a 10-sack season. Yes, that's true, but he isn't consistent every game and cannot finish. Yeah, we can't expect the pass rusher to go off every single game. I see what you're saying, but like I said, he's still a work in progress. He's not at his final form yet. He's not at his best yet. He has been getting better, though. I will give him that. You got to give him that. He has been getting better, and he has been getting more consistent. There are some times where he disappears sometimes, and that happens to a lot of pass rushers at times. Well, actually, not a healthy TJ Watt, not a healthy Max Crosby. Myles Garrett, not really either. I mean, when he played the Ravens sometimes, the Ravens can make them players disappear sometimes. But, yeah, Odafe not there in that class yet. Could he be soon enough? Hey, we'll see. But, yeah, only way you could trade Odafe, you got to have a backup plan. And I know you did say Jack Sawyer, but you got to have a backup plan. Because you did mention Josh Sweat, too. So it would all just depend. He said the same for Ronnie. In the second half of the season, he struggled a lot, and Lamar helps the offensive line out a lot. Lamar certainly does. He makes the offensive line look a lot better than they can be sometimes because of just everything that he can do, everybody who he can avoid. So that's a good point. So, yeah, that's why he said draft the offensive lineman. He said Ohio State has great pass rushers, especially in the league now. Nick and Joey Bosa, Chase Young, Cam Hayward, Peter Warner, and Sam Hubbard. Sam Hubbard went to Ohio State, too. I didn't know that. Jack Sawyer or JT Tuimoloau is the answer for our pass rush. So they're NFL ready right here, right now. They're not like projects where, these guys in maybe 2 to 3 years, they'll be some. Because we need right here, right now, in my opinion. I don't think we should play a waiting game with a pass rusher. We should be like, let's see how he develops. No, in my opinion, at pass rush, you need somebody ready. So if those guys are ready, then okay, let them be the answer. But if they're not, then we still got the question. He said, please let me know if there's anything you would change differently or agree on. And big trust. Appreciate you, TMitch.